had perpetual throat phlegm the entire fucking year. That's not normal. What the hell did they do to us, people? I'm in my Seven of Pentacles energy. So I'm wearing my Saturnian colors for this. Alright, let's do a quick astrological analysis for the new moon in Virgo here. The mind is the body. You are what you eat. What you consume consumes you, essentially. It's easy to know, but the gravity and the value of what that is something that has to be learned. So Virgo, down here, this is a chart for Minneapolis. You could look at where you are in the world to determine what house the new moon's happening in. Will help you to understand some of the dynamics of your epigenetics. If you want to understand a micro to macro, like your own individual energy, your experience, then look at your birth chart and see where this lines up for you, what house. For me, it's in the 5th house of fun, creativity, romance, all that other stuff. Self-expression. Now, first thing I notice here is that we've got the opposition with Neptune. Five-degree orb. So it tells me there's realizations coming to bear fruit. So Pisces is the ineffable, the void of potential. It's where the spirit is born. And it's realized through Virgo. Virgo's a high tension energy. It's full of mental activity. It's trying to decode, decipher, understand all the patterns and details and things that keep coming up and rising in awareness. This is why Mercury is the ruler. Mercury represents the mind. But Mercury is the ruler of Virgo as well as Gemini. And Mercury is strong in both signs, but in Virgo, the strength of the mind is in the application of what it understands, whereas strength of the mind is in the learning, analysis, taking in what it understands in Gemini. Now Mercury's stationed here on this new moon. It's about to go direct within 24 hours after this new moon. Or stationed direct, I should say. Which means it's basically, it doesn't appear to be going backwards in the visual night sky. Which is an illusion. But life is symbolic. All things are symbolic. It's decoding what that is and understanding what it is, which helps you to make sense of the feelings and the patterns. So Virgo is big on patterns, understanding that kind of stuff. There's a lot of anxiety in the Virgo archetype because it's analyzing a lot of details. It can't help it. And what's the use of analyzing all these details if you don't apply that knowledge, if you don't share your perspectives? And so that's part of the tension is how do you be of service with that information? How do you express that information? How do you put that tension to form? Virgo also represents the martyr. So victimhood is common here. Giving too much is a common theme. But sometimes we give because we don't know how to receive. So it's not that we're being taken advantage of all the time. It's that we don't understand. We're learning the balance. You know, it's the spirit here that leads us into Libra, the spirit of Virgo. So it's in the process of perfection. So it's weighing all of the data, it's weighing all of the experiences and trying to apply an optimal expression of what all that represents into something that can be harvested in life. It's like plowing the fields, you know, putting the seeds in, nurturing the growth, and harvesting the yield, whatever it is you're planting in life. And so all that time and energy you put into things, you don't want it to go to waste, you know. So that's one of the fears, and Virgo can lead you into the myopia of idealism, trying to make sense of the crazy. And then you lose big picture. And people take advantage of you, or you become a useful idiot in the game of some other system, and oftentimes these games are rigged. So that's where the victimhood piece comes out from martyrdom. That's why the tyrant and the savior complex rises through this energy as well. It's the magician, you know, it's making the metaphysics mundane. It's breaking the metaphysical potentials into mundane understandings, into the everyday life, and that's kind of magical. You're bringing heaven to earth through the archetype. But part of the work of the archetype is understanding how to break free of the control here in Capricorn, so that you can ground potential into reality and express in new ways. Allow the natural spontaneity of your spirit to shine without refinement of analysis and processing of experience. So it is a beautifully twisted expression at times. So we have a new moon there in the third decan of Virgo. And I have the Ptolemaic breakdown of the degrees here on the outside ring, which is Hellenistic, it's old Greek perspective. So this is in the Saturnian section of Virgo with the new moon. Mercury is in the mercurial section. Now we've got Neptune here in the Martian zone of Pisces, and Mars over here at the end of the Venusian zone of Libra. Now these zones, these decans, these degrees, these are loose interpretations, you know, it just helps to give a little bit of an understanding, and you can play the game of connecting the dots this way, but you can connect the dots many ways. Just doesn't need to be that way. But it can lead you down different paths of insight. So we could see with this new moon Saturnian, we're bringing spirit to form. We've got that working, opening quincunx between Pallas Athena on the Libra point, the galactic center's galactic center. How they determine that, I don't know. I didn't read into the details too much. But to me it seems logical because we've got the Alpha and Omega here with 29 Pisces, 0 Aries opposing. So there's like this lore, this energetic lore that can be symbolized through that galactic center idea. In any case, we've got this working quincunx with Saturn retrograde, so the events of the world, the processing of past experience, the emotional authority that we've been digesting to understand the feelings which have propelled us into the mind and into dynamics and circumstances. The wisdom of that, the power of the perception is starting to rise within us. It's catalyzed through this energetic, this new energy which is rising through the Virgo archetype. So whoever Virgo is in your chart, for me it's in the 11th house, which is unity, consciousness, dreams, friends. It's about a vision. It's what do you do after you've put your effort into the 10th house? Why do you seek something in this world? What is the next maturation of that? So that's where I'm focused on with this, but it's at a level beyond my mind. I'm not analyzing and breaking things down. I don't got a goal, things like that, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just doing this stuff, and it doesn't really fit in with this world. I'm trying to make sense of the crazy. But you might have an idea. You may have been working on something, or maybe something grabs your attention. Maybe you get an epiphany. Maybe you feel a pull towards something. And then that becomes a pole star for you. And a growing awareness as the spirit comes into clarity through this Neptune opposition with the sun and the moon. So delusions may drop from your awareness. You may realize where you've been living in a delusion or a dream, or you may realize that the world has fed you an illusion or a dream. And you realize the power that you have to create your own delusion so that you can bring something into the world meaningful to you, which is of service to yourself. When we can pour our own water, then we can pour someone else's. If we can't even pour our own, why feed into the chaos? So I feel that kind of an awareness is growing within us wherever the Virgo energy flows through you. Now Mercury is going direct a couple days after this new moon. Venus just went direct a few days ago. She's on her shadow path, sextiling Mars here. So the compromise of the past and how we have been is part of the falling of the veil, the delusion, where we've sold ourselves short or we were bound to dynamics of old ways of being because we were too afraid or too blind to see the truth of our growing awareness and of our own cultivation. We couldn't honor it, but now we're starting to understand where we can honor that and how that can look for us. Now we've got this trine, this nice trine with Uranus retrograde here. And it's a loose grand Earth trine. I mean, the Sun, Moon together is pretty strong, and it's trining Pluto. But it's a 6-degree orb here. Almost 5.5. Almost 6-degree orb. So it's kind of like there's an awareness that we used to have in relation to our traditional upbringing, where we've come from. And it's the awareness of how we can now rebel, not just for the sake of rebelling, but we can see where that angst within us can be used towards the cultivation of the self and service of the self, and how this unfoldment of life has brought us to a deepening of our realization of why we've gone through what we've gone through, and how our values have actually been nurtured through this power dynamic between Scorpio and Taurus. Where have you given up your strength, your ability, your power? Where have you repressed your individuality, your skills, your value, so that other people could feel more valuable? How has that held you back? How have you compromised? How have you held the love in check and retarded it, essentially? Well, now we're learning of the value of nurturing ourselves and what it can do for us, and that when we nurture ourselves and we find the value in our own authentic expression, how we share that with others just by living that, and how that's good for them. And if they can't understand it, then that's just their problem, because you can feel it for yourself. And you're starting to see that in resonance with relationships to this world and other people, and it's through the relationship of yourself, shedding of the old, becoming who you might be, releasing who you thought you were. Now we've got this Yod here with the South Node, Neptune, and Uranus. Finger of God here. So the realization of your value is changing how you relate with past relationships, past dynamics. And it's coming through the disillusionment of what once was for what can be. And so this is spirit maturation here with Neptune. The cultivation of your spirit. So you may be forging new spirit through the fires of Leo with Venus by standing more in your own authority based off of what is fair for you. And you're finding that impulse to act here through a Martian way in your relationships. And that impulse is being informed here through Virgo with this rising awareness within you. And it's through the embodiment of it with Virgo. It's through living the change. And you don't have to accomplish everything all in one day. It's just little steps. So you may find yourself getting organized, more organized in the coming weeks. You may find your clarity of thought is getting more clear. But it might be epiphanies from within yourself, things you've been digesting, or it could be relational to the here now moment, experiences which come and go in these coming weeks that cement the understanding home, or give you no choice but to accept what it is you thought through all the mire of the feelings and the emotional loops. We've got the trine with Chiron here and Venus, wounding your or healing the wound of your self-expression for a more pure, authentic one. Jupiter here will be trining Mercury on the shadow path in the coming weeks. So that's the expansion, the bringing your processes, your experiences into realized form, into realization. So when Mercury makes Cazimi, hits the Sun, it's going to be the rebirth of new awareness for us. I think that will happen in Libra, wherever that is for you. But you can kind of see where the progressions of these energies are taking you, taking all of us. Now, societally speaking, health might be a big budding awareness or issue to rise in these coming weeks. Understanding of delusion, illusion, lies, and mystery may rise up here. Maybe we'll get new viruses being pushed. Maybe mask mandates will be reinforced by fascist dictatorship again. And maybe there will actually be a reason for it this time, which will really confound the gaslighting and the entrainment and the brainwashing. So people will have to realize, you know, are they going to martyr themselves? Are they going to become the victim? Or are they going to become a tyrant or a savior? Or are they going to be bringing heaven to earth and trying to live their best life in service to the self, to be of service to others through that expression? So these are things that will come up societally. We may see play on the emotions in relation to agriculture, nature, the medical industry. We may find where a lot of heroes are villains. We may find where a lot of villains are now heroes. It's interesting how psyche breaks down. There may be a lot of need to find balance in relationship to this world. The legal system may be flexing here. We can see the corruption of what it has been and a resurgence to try and bring it into a balanced state, to seek perfection. And we're about to get the Pluto return of the US again here in a month. So we've got a lot of things building up, happening, progressions, you know. So follow the moon, this next moon cycle. See how it's influencing you as it traverses these different energies, these different signs. Set an intention, something that benefits you, something that honors the temple of the mind, body. Maybe clean up the diet, clean up the whatever you ingest, whether it's media, news, information, food. Try and clean it up in this coming moon cycle and see how it benefits you. It's a good opportunity for that. And If you feel there's a need to force things, then take a step back and relax. Try and ground yourself. When there's true need, you know it, because the world kind of steps in and shows you. Alright, well, thanks for watching, listening, and being